Meow, I'm Huples cat. When I think of Sweden, I think of snow and the Muppets. Oh yeah, and IKEA. A German film crew recently looked at Swedish prepping, and I'm a Brit living in Canada, and I'm going to look at what the Germans found about Sweden.
Now that Russia has invaded Ukraine, fears are growing there could be war on Swedish soil. The country is preparing just in case. Both the military and civilians are bracing themselves. The government is encouraging people to become preppers, trained in survival tactics and ready for any kind of crisis.
Make sure the holes are spaced evenly for better airflow.
Prepping is, if a crisis occurs, it's better to be prepared and together. It increases the safety and decreases fear.
Please wear gloves and eyeglasses when you're doing this sort of thing. In SHTF, those cuts are going to get infected and could kill you.
In the suburb of Skarpnäck, Robin has joined a group of preppers. Social education worker Per Plushka came up with the concept. He wants to show sports clubs and neighborhood communities that it's better to face emergencies as a united front.
Prepared together, using existing communities to prepare? What a great idea.
If we happen to end up in a crisis and we already have a strong community and with a sense of cooperation, then that makes us much safer. Then we know that, okay, well, this is where we start. It's already a safe space. But if we are only individuals and we fear each other because that's what we've heard or we've read or seen on TV shows, like everybody is the other person's enemy, then I might be afraid of my neighbors instead of working together with my neighbors.
Which is why watching endless fear porn videos from fake soldiers toting guns on YouTube is bad for you. People come together in SHTF. If you can get those same people to prepare together before SHTF, great.
Some of the course participants know very little about prepping. They've only ever banded together before to fight rent hikes in the neighborhood. Today they're learning that cans aren't only useful for storing food, but also for cooking it.
Again, please wear gloves and eye protection when you're doing this sort of thing. And be aware of the fact almost all modern tin cans have a very toxic plastic liner inside them. Get a bilge stove working away and a bic. Ferro rods are for emergency use only. They're a bushcrafting backup.
This is my first time and I'm not very good with tools, so I'm just, I don't know. This is, yeah, but it's fun.
It is, get prepped.
Darun and Tishbin are both Kurdish. As teenagers, they fled from the so-called Islamic State terrorist group in Iraq. Per Plushka invited them to share their experience of what it was like to fight for survival during wartime.
What would you say would be one of the most important things?
There is a fight, there is war, you hear bullets flying, then you stress, then you cannot think properly, then you do something dumb and you get killed. It's not because it was difficult, like physically you could survive, but then because you are stressed, you make bad decisions, and when you make bad decisions, your chances of survival becomes lower.
Remember, there'll be no days off or hour in a major SHTF. It's going to be every single day for weeks to months to years. But
how did you handle stress?
Now, if a similar situation would happen, it's like I'm mentally prepared because, for example, I train a lot. I do cold showers and I do training in the gym, and this is all stress. Then you get used to stress. So it's very important you prepare your body, like if you have a good condition, it helps a lot.
Repetition, 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 repetition. Be young, be fit, and have repetition in your training to get used to the stress of SHTF.
The people here are curious to learn more.
It's very interesting how you keep yourself informed during a crisis, and that they were talking about, for example, the internet and fake news, and you cannot trust maybe everything, all the information that you get, and how to navigate in that mishmash of information. That it's very important to have good sources and ask a lot of people.
Great point in the now as well. Don't just look at your empire's media sources, go beyond that. Look at different sources and think about what you're reading and what you've been told and what you're watching. Almost all news is at best biased, and a lot of it, at worst, is extremely manipulative and not reality based.
I think it's good to have this information and knowledge just because to be prepared and is to think about these things because it could happen, like as we've seen, wars and
Indeed, cover the basics.
Robin also trains with the Home Guard. But he doesn't want to be filmed holding a weapon. Instead, we follow him to another course offered by Preptember. The topic today is first aid. Useful knowledge, not only in times of war. Preptember says he witnessed a deadly altercation just days ago in Skarpnäck. Right before the social worker's eyes, a teenager was gunned down with 3 shots to the head.
I try to do what I can until the police and ambulances arrive. And this person, he was already dead. So after that, we had this workshop because we were thinking like, you're living in a really hard world.
Could you cope with that scenario and offer first aid? Are you even able to say the word dead? Different cultures have different things. Sweden's culture is not America's any more than Canada's is America's.
Apply pressure like this, hold it firmly until paramedics arrive or until you find a bandage.
Whether gang violence, looming war, the COVID-19 pandemic, or natural disaster, Preptember tries to meet any crisis with establishing a sense of community.
Strangely enough, that was also Taxi's big four in 1982. And like Taxi, a community is vital.
Politicians, they might talk about, we need to do this on a big scale. Well, I work here on the local level, and by doing that and setting an example, other people can do that as well and inspire me, and, well, vice versa. It's the same when it's a war. It's really abstract, it's huge. Or a climate catastrophe. We can start growing our food. We need to plant more trees because there will be more floodings because of the climate. Or inspiring each other, it can have a bigger effect.
In the face of a hopeless situation, do what you can to make things better, not worse. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great week. And next on Swedish Prepping...
Juno takes her injury in stride. Robin believes that these weekends in the woods have made his daughter tougher.
They could try to occupy Gotland. That would give them better access to capture the Baltic states.
On Stockholm's bunkers. These massive steel doors can be shut at a moment's notice.
This type of shelter is for 8,000 people, so you have to make it ready decent time before things really happen. But when or if you need it clear, then it should be done in 48 hours.
Food actually gives me time to adjust to a new situation.
The Home Guard is a unit within the Swedish Armed Forces with the core mission of protecting Swedish territory.
This video has been brought to you by Wolfie Terrier, King of the Apocalypse Productions 2022.